started with bar. All right, so I always like to start with a warm-up, okay? So we're gonna inhale, reach high, and then exhale to the side. Inhale for that transition, exhale, lean. I have my feet in first position, so bar is inspired by ballet, and first position is a foot position. First position is a foot position in ballet. So we are also going to be focusing on breath because, you know, bar is about breathing, it's fitness, and I just bring some principles of Pilates into it as well. We want to get range of motion in our shoulders as well as our spine. So I'm going to this lateral bending. I reach high and then I lean over. All right, I'm not collapsing to the side. I'm still reaching up, reaching high, and just reaching high up to that corner. Good, continuing to breathe. Inhale here, exhale. Keeping both heels and toes grounded to the mats. All right, one more time on each side. And then we're gonna go into our plie. You can keep your arms resting low, or you can hold it at about chest height. So it's just underneath my shoulders. I have a roundness to my arms, softness to my fingers. I'm definitely not elevating my shoulders. And other things I want to think about, bracing the abs, lifting the chest, good posture. This is a very little knee bend. Okay, my heels stay on the ground and my knees track in line with the toes going to the corners. And inhale to lower, exhale, zip up. Inhale, lower, exhale, lift. Something to think about as you continue to do plies is to really, like, imagine like you're pulling on a pair of pants and you're just really lengthening and tightening everything up as you stand. So I feel sort of my inner thighs and the back of my knees pull in towards each other. And you also can feel your butt, your glutes engage as you squeeze up and in. Good, two more. Now the chair here is for our balance so that we can do certain movements without worrying about falling. And for our heel raises, you may want to put a hand gently on the chair. If you want to work on your balance, you can keep those hands off. Your heels will come apart as you rise up onto the balls of your feet, and then the heels will come back together. So here we are strengthening those calf muscles. Again, braced abs, lifted chest. We're going up and down pretty quickly, so might not have to worry too much about balance. But later on when we do single leg movements where we have one leg up in the air for a while, you don't want to be worried about falling over. You want to be able to focus on the muscles we're targeting and the movement itself. So that's why the chair comes in handy. A few safety things that you don't want to pull on the chair because it's not bolted to the ground. Let's go into a little squats and then up into the heel raise. Squats, heel raise. Plie is the ballet term. Talking about vertical spine here. So very rarely are we going to be tilting it too much, but even if I tilt it, the spine is going to stay straight and neutral. Let's do four more here. And for safety, we're not going to yank on the chair, and that's the main thing. Please feel free to modify the movements that I'm doing from this point on. Well, you could have modified all that too. That's the warm-up. And then take water breaks at any time. All right, we're going to go into a wider position just to open up and warm up the hips. So I'm skipping second position, which is where the feet are hip distance apart or shoulder distance apart. And I'm going to the widest plie, which is about 3 times hip width apart. And as I bend my knees, my toes are turned out to the corners of the room still. I'm going to gently press my knees out. So instead of letting it come forward, I want to press it out, even as I squat. Good. So feel that hip opening up. Abs are still nice and braced. chest is still lifted. And again, if you want to engage your shoulders. So again, shoulder muscles are engaged without elevating the shoulders, without straining that neck. Good, still generating some heat, warming up here. And let's just get some motion to our shoulders here. Lower and lift, lower and lift. Keep the abs braced the whole time, but especially as you lift your arms overhead. So there's no chance of you arching your back, but instead you are going to be reinforcing that neutral spine as those arms go up and over the head. The arms don't need to go behind your head. It just needs to get right above it. And again, listen to your body. If you feel any sort of impingement in your shoulders, you don't have to go all the way high. Last two. And last one. Okay. I'm going to talk about a couple different lunges. One lunge is sort of a more stretch-based lunge. So the back leg is straight and the heel is down, and you're going to feel a nice calf stretch. The front knee is bent where the shin is vertical. All right. Try to keep your chest up, maybe a little tilt, but mostly up. And then the second version of the lunge is the back knee goes down to about ankle heights. This allows the front knee to bend a little bit more, but you want to have a pretty long stride length. So this lunge isn't going to work if your feet are too close, right? Because you have nowhere to go. So you got to take a big step back. You'll feel that nice hip flexor stretch too. All right, so when we're doing this exercise I'm about to show you, you can either go into the straight back leg lunge, or you can go into the fitness lunge. And I'm going to demonstrate a few of each, but you don't have to do each. You can do just one. All right, so the outside leg is what's going to be lifted. Front, side, back, and together. Front, side, back. And now I'm always going to progress. So stay here if this is what is challenging but doable for you. Braced abs, lifted chest. Now I'm going to start lifting the leg up, maybe 3 inches off the ground. I'm going to sweep it through. Really engaging the quads, legs straight, feeling a little outer thighs here, trying not to tilt. And then when I swing it back, I'm all using this range of motion in my hips. I'm really squeezing my butt here, but I'm not dropping the chest, okay? Swing it on through. Inhale here, exhale. You can start to lift the leg higher and higher. Determine what's a good sort of distance from your chair here. Again, we're really trying hard not to change our body position. We're letting the leg move within the hip socket joint. My standing leg is going to be slightly bent, so it's a soft knee. Whenever I work on one leg, the standing leg, I'm going to try not to lock it out. So how high would you like to lift this leg, this outside leg? What's challenging for you? Now I'm going to add that lunge. So we go forward, swing it back, hold it up in the Arabesque, and big step back. I'm going to keep my leg straight for this one. So let me just show you from the side view here. I wouldn't do it this way because you don't want to kick your chair, but I'm just demonstrating. You circle back like this, you get into your Arabesque, and then you go into your lunge. Okay? From the lunge, you basically straighten the stabilizing leg. Trying to get my back heel down. Again, my leg is straight for this one. My feet should be about hip distance apart. Good. So when you're standing up out of this movement, you should feel the stabilizing leg doing extra work because now it's bending. It's doing a single leg squat. Swing through. So I've done about 4 with the back leg straight, and now I'm going to do 4 with the back knee bending. So I'm just going to turn a little bit here. Find that Arabesque. Again, it's okay to lean a little bit, but you don't want to drop the chest. A little lean, and then there's my lunge, okay? Feet hip distance apart. And there's the lunge with the back knee bent. Take your time with this. Breathe at your own pace. You can inhale here, swing the leg through. You can exhale, circle, and lunge. I don't know if the exhale is going to take you all the way there, depends on how fast you're moving. So just keep breathing. Take extra breaths as needed. Maybe the circling is really slow, so you're going to inhale here through the leg, exhale, inhale again, and then maybe you're going to exhale. Find a breathing pattern that works for you. Good. So this is an example of if you didn't have the chair and you're constantly like doing this, that it actually takes away from the exercise. It takes away from the fact that you can't recruit the right muscles and keep it properly engaged because you're focused too much on, not falling. So having the chair actually helps enhance the motion. So I'm pointing my toes, but if your foot's cramping, you can flex the foot. All right, we're gonna do one more of this. So flex is like this. Flex here, flex back. Then your toes are already tucked under for this. But we're gonna do some pulses. So I'm gonna bring my leg forward. I'm gonna focus on the lift for 16. Lift, lift. Think of the up. Brace, abs, chest, 8. Chest up. 4, 3, 2. Hold it up there. Bring it to the side. Try to keep that chest up. And 16. Good. Turn your kneecaps towards me. Standing leg is soft. For 4, 3, 2. Hold the lift. Find the highest point. Circle it around. Working the glutes here. Soft knee in that front leg or that bottom leg. Braced abs. Chest as lifted as you can. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. I don't know what to do with this arm. 2, 1. Now, I'm going to go into the bent knee lunge and pulse here. But if you're going to pulse with a straight leg, you would want to shift a little bit like this. All right? Because I'm going to assume that you're not bending the back knee for a specific reason. But if your back knee is bent, we're going to pulse down here for 16. We're just trying to load the muscles with a small range of motion at a bent knee position. That's where the muscles are loaded. When the legs are straight, you don't feel the muscles as much in the lunge position. 2, 1. All right, we're going to repeat that one more time. So here, our leg is straight, but that's where the most amount of muscle load is. Working the quads and hip flexors. Give me 8. Take it to the side, but lift as high as you can. And pulse. Take it to the back and lift. Think about the lift. Small range of motion. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and finally the lunge. Pulse, staying low. Final 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, I count the pulses really well because they're very tough and try not to do too many. Quality over quantity. The slower hip circling stuff. By the way, I forgot to mention we should be in neutral position and our feet no longer turned out. Forgot to mention that on the other side, but I think everyone had their feet neutral because that's how you lunge in the back. So this, we're all kind of moving at our own pace. Oh, let's do circles on the floor first. So let's not worry too much about the counts here. I'm going to try to do the same number as we did on the other side. But again, everyone moves at different paces, and I don't want you to ever feel like you're rushing to go at my pace. Slower is always a little better. So standing leg, once again, soft knees, not locked. Yeah, we're trying to brace our abs, keep our chest lifted. Oh, sorry, our leg is off the ground. So you can always pick where you want your leg height to be. I kind of try to set that, you know, if I pick a certain height in the front, I'm going to try to keep that same height to the side and the same height to the back. That's what I'm going to try to do. So I'm going to lift a little higher. I would also say that this is my less flexible side. So I feel like I have definitely more range of motion in my right leg. So when I was doing it on the other side and my left leg's on the ground, I felt like I had a lot of range. And here I just feel really tight. So even if I am making it look easy, I am straining a lot more on this side, which I hide really well, right? All right, so we're still breathing. And you can exhale here, you make that circle. Inhale as you pull through. The flex foot point. You can keep your foot flexed the whole time if you like. I do recommend having an active foot, so it's either flexed or it's either pointed. And then as you circle your way around, in addition to feeling that range of motion in your hip and possibly feeling slight fatigue in the stabilizer, but I want you to also feel the different muscles that are engaged. We have quads and hip flexors moving into the outer thighs. And then find this is a stretch for the hip flexor, and you should really feel your glutes pretty intensely. And you're going to feel your abs here, probably less so here, and probably a lot of abs here again, not because you're actually using it, but because you don't want to go into an arch. And if you don't engage your abs, you might go into an arch. All right, let's go into the lunge now. So we go forward, back, arabesque, and then big step back, and I'm going again into my straight leg lunge. Forward, side, arabesque, big step, and I feel my calf stretch there. Go at your own pace, keep breathing, keep breathing. It's not wrong to hold that arabesque at the end. The slower you move, the more you can just feel all your muscles. There's just no momentum at all. So now I'm going to do the bent knee lunge. So the back knee is going to bend. Okay. You can do whatever you want with your arms in terms of how it helps you balance. Put your hands on your hips if you want. I can feel the different muscles engage. Like if I have my hands on my hip flexor, quads, I can feel all this muscle engaged, contracted, hard. Put it back at your butt. All right, let's try one more of this. And then we're going to go into our pulses. So we're going to pulse 16 to the front. So take it to the front. Lift, lift. Think about the lift, because gravity is always going to pull your leg down anyways. Soft standing leg. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Circle it to the side. lift. Kneecaps facing me. Or facing your front anyways. 8, 7. You're gonna feel a little obliques too. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift and circle to the back. Feel your glutes, brace your abs so you don't get into your lower back. Standing leg soft. We're going into our lunge. Again, if you have the back leg straight, you're just going to deepen the lunge into the front leg, but not to the point that you shoot your knee past your toes. I'm going to do the bent knee version. Chest up, spine in neutral. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Pulse again. Everything we just did. Eight more. Lift and go to the side. Take your time. Small range. And 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Trying to square those hips up here. My kneecaps should face the floor. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and finally our lunge. And this will be the last bits of pulsing that we do. Give me 4 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'm going to do a little bit more leg work on the mats, but for now we are done with the chair. Grab some water if you need. So I'm going to do a little bit of upper body and then segue into the mats. If you don't have cans of beans, which these weigh a whopping 1 pound, again, you can use dumbbells or just have a loose fist. I wouldn't clench the fist super tight. Just because we want to make sure we target the right muscles. So let's start with, feet about shoulder distance apart, hip distance apart in neutral. Soften those elbows. So the only time I'll ever say to lock out an elbow joint is probably for tricep extensions. Here, it's all about the shoulders. So lifted chest, braced abs. Full range side raise, coming to about shoulder height or just underneath shoulder height. Soften those knees. Keep that chest lifted. All right, let's hold it up at about shoulder height or just underneath and pulse. Small range of motion. So I'm not straightening or bending my elbows any further. My elbows just stay soft. And the motion is happening at my shoulder joint. Keep those abdominals nice and braced. Helps with your posture. Good. I'm going to assume your palms are face down just like mine are. I'm going to have you flip it face up and pulse. Feels a little different. Okay, we do a lot of reps. Lighter weight, high repetition. This is the bar method. The bar way. I shouldn't say bar method. That's actually a branded name. Okay, so from here, look at where your elbows are. They should be about shoulder height. Pretend like you're holding 2 cell phones and you're like, oh, I'm going to listen to it. So bring the beams or dumbbells, your fists to your ears. And the main thing you want to focus on is keeping the elbows at shoulder height. So notice I'm not dropping those elbows, all right? And so what this does is it keeps the shoulder muscles engaged. And I know your shoulders are starting to feel it. That's the point. Take a break anytime you need it. You don't want to feel strain in the neck though. I'm not elevating my shoulders. You can work your deltoid muscles without working your, what we call levator, scapula levator. All right. From here, turn the palms so they face forward and press it up. This is it for shoulders. Nothing more after this. Again, brace the abs so you don't accidentally, arc your back or do anything funky. We're trying to keep that strong neutral spine. Give me 4 more. Notice my elbows stay soft at the top. I'm intentionally not locking it out. It doesn't matter if you have a heavy weight or a light weight. You generally just don't want to lock out your joints. All right, except when we do triceps. Let's keep our elbows down for now. So a few palms up. So in doing this exercise, you should feel your biceps and no longer your shoulders because your elbows are underneath your shoulders. Good, I'm gonna have you take your feet, if they weren't already, about shoulder distance apart, hip distance apart, and we're gonna go into a squat. And we're gonna squat as we're doing the curls. Let's go ahead and slow down the curls actually, because we're not gonna squat this fast. So I'm gonna bend my knees as I bend my elbows. Let me show you the side view. There is a slight forward tilt of the spine, but I'm still keeping my chest up. This is a squat with my chest dropped. Okay, so you can keep a neutral spine, you can keep your chest lifted, even with a slight forward tilt. And if you don't want to do squats along with curls, then don't do it. You can just do the curls. Or if you hate curls and you just want to do squats, you can do that too. 4 more here. Then we're going to stay in the squat, so I'm going to just show you profile again. Okay, so let's bend into the squat here. Oh, but we're not going to do biceps anymore. Actually, turn your palms so they face inward. All right, so my palms are facing inward. I'm going to lift my arm so it's parallel, the same tilt as my spine. Okay, lift that chest. We don't want to drop it. You guys can see this? And then all I want you to do is relax your tricep, and the dumbbells or the weight just reaches towards the floor. I'm not doing a curl anymore. I'm going from extension, lock those elbows out, work those triceps, to relax. Gravity is going to pull your fists or your forearms to vertical. The only reason it would go beyond vertical and back up toward your shoulders is because you engage the biceps. So try to focus on the triceps. Try triceps. So engage the triceps, relax the triceps. Keep the biceps out of the equation. Triceps, relax. If you don't feel your triceps, pull your elbows up a little higher. Good. And then keep those elbows high as you straighten the arms completely. Complete straightening. And you don't need to keep your eye gaze on me. I want you to check out what I'm doing, and then realign your head and neck with your spine. So that means, since your chest is slightly tilted, your head is also going to be along that same pathway. So your eye gaze is maybe about 5 or 6 feet ahead of your toes. And now let's keep the triceps engaged, straight arms, and lift. Lift, lift, lift. My arms are straight, and I keep pushing it back and up, reaching it behind me and lifting it to the ceiling for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, hopefully you felt the triceps there. Whew. We're gonna go into a wide row, which if you've ever done a push-up, your arms are straight and their hands on the ground, and you bend your elbows about 90 degrees, and you lower your chest to about elbow height. It's the same motion, except instead of lowering our body into a push-up, we're gonna pull the arms up. So from the front view, so we're still in a slight tilt. I pull the dumbbells apart. I pull my hands apart, and see how my elbows roughly come to 90 degrees. I feel my shoulder blades squeeze towards each other.
You have to be a little tilted on purpose again. Doesn't mean your chest is dropped. That doesn't mean your spine is round.
And again, this is really meant to work the upper back. So your postural muscles. Gravity wants to pull your arms down. It wants to pull your shoulder blades apart because your arm keeps wanting to go down, down, down. Your head wants to go down. It weighs 10 pounds. And this is what our spine wants to do. That's what gravity wants. We got to do the opposite. That's how we fight for our posture. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Lift that chest. Keep the head and neck aligned with the spine. Good. And I know your legs are tired from before. Yes, we're in an isometric squat position. It is not fun, but you don't want to do this with your knees straight. Let's do some pulsing. Let's just lift those elbows and keep elbowing. Imagine there's someone looking over your shoulder and they're like trying to cheat on this exam. No one would ever do that, right? Nobody takes exams this way anymore. But you're just like, get off my back. Stop looking over my shoulder. Elbow them, elbow them, elbow them. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, we're gonna take it to the mats. So we have about 15 minutes left, but I wanna do about 5 more minutes of glute work and then some abdominal work too. And then of course, we're gonna do a little bit of stretch. All right, one thing that you can do real quick is the shoulder bridge. So feet are hip distance apart. And this is a great one to do because it stretches your hip flexors. Try not to hyperextend your spine. So our abs are drawing down, my glute is pressing up. Good, I'm gonna have you take maybe the front leg, take the ankle, cross it over the back knee. And with the remaining leg and glute on the ground, try to push both hips right and left to the same height. This is a little more challenging because only one leg is now working to lift both sides. Now pulse it at the top. Push, push, push. So drop a little bit under neutral and then come back to neutral. 8, 7, 6, 5. Push through the heel. 4, 3, 2, and 1. If it feels better for you to have both legs on the ground, you can do the same thing with both legs on the ground. So first the full range. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. This leg that's bent is pretty much relaxed. It's kind of stretching a little bit. This turnout position. Good, really squeeze that butt. Let's pulse it, push it up there. Push, push, lift, lift. Remember, gravity always wants to take you down, so you just gotta focus on the lift. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, turn around. First, we're gonna do some push-ups. Ugh, no. Yes. Remember when I talked about the hand wide? We lower the chest to elbow heights. It's that same position of the arms as if we're pulling. All right. Now you can do push-ups in several ways. There's, you can start on your toes, find a straight line, drop to your knees, lower, and then finally the last version is pull the knees underneath your hips. Okay. If you're going to do all 3 versions, because you would like to try all 3 versions, I would start with the hardest version and then move towards the easiest. So let's do a total of 8. I'm going to do 2 of this on the toes. Inhale down, exhale, lift. I'm going to drop to my knees. I'll do 3 of these. Inhale down, exhale, lift, and then finally I'm going to pull my knees in. My chest aims for the same spot on the floor each time, which is right in between my thumbs. All right. I'm going to do a quick relaxation of shake out the wrists. Push-ups are a great exercise. Not only does it work your arms and chest, but it also works your core muscles for the plank. So we're going to work on the core muscles right now with this sort of what I call a vertical plank movement. If you need to add extra cushioning under your knees, go ahead and fold up your yoga mats. Or from here, we're going to lean back just a little bit. Best thing to do is to have your arms forward. And again, this is just reinforcing the plank position. So reinforcing the fact that your abs in the front and your glutes in the back, the lower back, they all need to be fired up to create stability through your spine, pelvis area. All right, that's what core muscles are. Anything that attaches to the spine and pelvis. We're also doing this just to give our wrist a little break. We're going to go right back on the wrist. One more here. All right, so again, if you need extra cushioning on your knees, go ahead and roll up that mat. You want your wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. We're not lifting the arms. So extend one leg back. This one has to be the leg closer to you. So it's my front leg, if you're mirroring me. And you're going to really stretch it and reach the farthest point you can touch with the toe. So always think about length. I'm not just lowering my leg. I'm lowering and reaching. I'm not just lifting my leg. I'm lifting and reaching. I'm reaching those toes away from my head. My eye gaze is on the floor between my thumbs. I'm really squeezing my glutes as I lift, but I'm also squeezing my abs so that my spine, if you want to check, doesn't move like I'm doing cat-cow. It's staying in neutral. And now I would like you to move across diagonally. So with the lifted position parallel, you're going to draw a diagonal line towards the floor to the outside of the back leg. So this is my right leg, and it's going to the left side of my left leg. So getting diagonal range of motion, crossing the midline. And I don't want you to just lower the leg. I want you to reach as far to the left with your right leg. Or if you're using your left leg, you're going to reach as far to the right as you possibly can. You should feel your inner thighs because you're really trying to reach, but not move your pelvis. So you're restricted, right, with how much you can cross the midline because you don't want your pelvis to move. But when you do that and you're reaching for the farthest point, you should feel your inner thighs kind of work. Here's the pulsing here. Pull your leg to parallel, pulse here, up, down. And the pulse for the diagonal is not going to be diagonal, but it's going to be side to side. So laterally, move your right leg or your front leg to the front, and then back directly behind the hip, away from the midline. Lateral pulse. So you're going to feel your abs kick in a little bit because when your leg goes outside the boundaries of your shoulders and hips, kind of feel like you're going to tilt, right? But this is when your abs kick in. So we just did a vertical pulse, up, down, and now we're doing a lateral pulse. Towards you, away from you, towards you. Last 3, 2, and 1. All right. I want you to take a break. Shake off those wrists. The only downside to doing this work is being on your wrist. I've seen people do it on your elbows like this. I would say do that if your wrist really needs a break, but it just changes the dynamics because your spine is no longer parallel to the floor. So if you have, you could try having a neutral wrist like this, but you just want to be really careful that you don't roll your wrist either, because that could also cause issues. So we're going to do the other side, and then we're going to do some abs. Oh, sorry. We're going to do the lift and lower first. Good, and now draw the diagonal.
constantly reaching as far across the midline as possible, and then return to start position. And when you return to start position, you're reaching the toe as far back as possible, away from the top of your head. Always lengthening. All right, let's pulse it up and down. And let's pulse it laterally, away from the midline, jutting a little bit past your shoulders and hips. All right, so the intent of the lateral pulsing is not to go across the midline and then return to the start position. It's to start at your start position, which is directly behind the hip, and then go to the outside, away from the midline. So my left leg goes out to the left, out to the left. Again, you should feel a little bit unstable. 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, we just have a little bit of time for abs. So I'm actually gonna do some stretching in 1 too. So keep your feet on the floor if you feel it's best for your lower back. But I am going to be lifting my legs. In the process of lifting my legs, you're going to feel the hamstring stretch. Good. So I'm supporting my neck here. I'm not yanking on my head, using my abs to lift the head, neck, and shoulder blades. I'm going to bring one leg up, my front leg. I'm going to intentionally flex my feet. I'm going to bring the heel up to the ceiling for a quad strengthening, but a hamstring stretch. And I haven't rotated yet. I'm still lifting straight up. Try to keep those elbows out to the side. 2 more. And then I'm going to add rotation. I'm going to take the back arm to the front foot's toe. It's okay if you don't touch it, but this motion creates a slight rotation. Both shoulder blades come off the ground. So I have my front arm still supporting the neck, my back arm reaching toward the front foot, and me just really trying to push that heel to the ceiling to get a nice calf and hamstring stretch. Last one here. Good. Take a quick break if you need. We're gonna lift the back leg now. No rotation, so just the crunch. And then flex the foot. Reach that heel up to the ceiling. Still no rotation yet. Focusing on the rectus abdominis. And then you can take your front arm and reach it towards the back toe. So it's up and then slightly over to target the obliques. Inhale down, exhale, lift. Give me 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Just do a little bit of abs at the end. Do more abs in Pilates. This focus here is on lower body work. Do a quick spine motion. So press into the forearms, lift the head, neck, and chest, the top of the rib cage. Relax. Do it one more time. And then this time, I just want you to press into your hands and go into a slightly deeper stretch for the abs. Now, it's up to you if you want to go all the way up. This is meant to stretch the abs. We're not working the spine here. If you want to work the spine, you would be lifting with very little pressure into the arms using the spine muscles. But here, the intent is to stretch those abs. Well done. Thank you so much for joining me. If you feel like you need to do a little more stretch, feel free to do that. I would maybe recommend a quad stretch. I want to be aware of time.
But yeah, that's the only stretch I'd really recommend since we did the hamstring stretch already. All right, hopefully everyone feels renewed and not too sore. Again, thank you all for coming. And let me know if you have any questions.